Over the decades, we've been blessed with some unbelievable motorcycle designers. How about Massimo Tamburini for the Ducati 916, or Val Page for the Gold Star, Ed Turner for the Bonneville, Willie G. Davidson for the Harleys. But there are some designers who like to keep their talent firmly in their shed. Meet Allen Millyard, engineer and bike builder extraordinaire. When he's not in his shed, you'll find him winning prizes at bike shows, or riding around the neighbourhood on one of his amazing creations like this, the Flying Millyard. Am I right that these are two pistons of a much bigger engine?
Yes, it's a 9-cylinder radial that's normally 22 litre. They put it on the front of Dakota aircraft.
So it's 2 cylinders out of a 9-cylinder Pratt & Whitney engine for a plane?
Yes, 2,500cc a cylinder.
Look at this finning on the head here. Isn't that just the most beautiful thing? Allen worked for years as a Ministry of Defence engineer, but for the last 10 years he has devoted himself exclusively to bikes. His creations are both innovative and striking looking, and unlike today's design studios, there are no computers in sight. Do you draw this at all, or is it in your head?
I don't do drawings. I had to do some rough dimensions just for getting crankshaft dimensions, so I first made the crankcases, and I made the crankshaft and the camshafts and did all the oil pumps and built the whole engine up. And it first ran in February, and I started making it in September.
Hang on. So what's 6 months?
6 months. The whole bike was finished in 12 months. I wanted a chitty bang bang bike, basically.
Oh, you've got it, mate.
So you sit right on the back and with your horn and the speedo as well.
Compared to the Flying Millyard, Allen's other little runabout is a 1974 Honda SS50. Looks very tame, but nothing in his world is quite what it seems. This little puppy runs a 250cc motocross engine.
I always liked the engineering of the SS50, and a lot of people put pit bike engines in them, which I actually wanted to fit in a proper race engine. It's so fast.
And talking about fast bikes, Allen's laid on a mini Salon Privé in his backyard, starring his other illustrious creations. This is a Kawasaki 400 Triple, which has grown 2 more cylinders. This is an H2, which has grown an extra cylinder. And this is a Honda SS100, which he's fitted with a 99cc V-twin engine. The amazing thing about all of them is they look like they've come straight out of the factory. To the untrained eye, there's no clue that they've been modified. Have you ever thought about being a designer for a major manufacturer? I mean, does that row your boat, productionising something or not?
I almost get bored once I've made 1 or 2 of the same. I like to do something different. And also, when you do, say, working for companies, they want CAD and CAM and finite element analysis and all this modern stuff. I do everything in my mind. I just think things and make them from scratch without drawings.
There is one other beast, though, isn't there?
I've got one bike you haven't seen yet, yeah.
It's fabled, mate. It is legendary, but I've never, ever seen it. Where is it? Out there?
Out the back, yeah.
Come on, then. How about, just to finish off, a V10 motorcycle? Feast your eyes. This is the ultimate custom creation, a V10 from a Dodge Viper sports car, powering a bike that's so fast it makes Usain Bolt look like a push maxi. Allen, why?
Well, it has actually been done by Chrysler themselves. They made the Tomahawk, but I've never actually seen it going faster than, say, 50 miles an hour anywhere on the internet. So I thought, my son actually said to me, Dad, you should make one that actually works.
Talk to me about the frame and the stresses that frame has to go through to be safe.
It doesn't actually have a frame. It has 2 subframes. The front subframe bolts to the front of the engine, and the rear subframe bolts to the rear of the engine, and there's nothing spanning the engine. The engine is then a stressed member.
Oh my God, really? So basically we've got the lump, yeah, we've got a rear sub and a front subframe.
Yes, and there's nothing underneath the tank, it's hollow. But I couldn't buy a set of forks for a motorbike that were big enough, so I made my own forks. They're scaled up in size.
Look at the thickness of the bars.
32mm, and normally they're 22. Because it would look funny with ordinary bars. It would look out of scale.
Yeah.
Look out of scale, you
Wouldn't
see.
it?
You see. So that's the trick with creating the illusion, is to scale everything up properly.
All right, come on then. Talk to me about performance.
It's 525 pounds-foot of torque. If you do the power to weight ratio, it's 1100 horsepower per tonne.
What's that commensurate with?
Well,
anything?
A Bugatti Veyron is 500 horsepower per tonne.
How fast will this go?
Well, the motorcycle news rode it when it was 2 weeks old, and they did 207.101 on half throttle at Bruntingthorpe. General estimates are about 220 without a fairing.
So are you ever tempted to give it a go again?
Yeah, I'm thinking about going up to Elvington at the weekend actually, because there's a speed week, national speed week, and it's a records week as well, so you get a record.
Well, if you're doing that, mate, I'm coming too. All right, that's it then.
Yeah.
Join us in a little while and we'll have a bit of a hoolie at Elvington. So here we are today up at Elvington Airfield in Yorkshire for a speed weekend. 2 days of record-breaking mayhem. There are plenty of superbikes up here, but few of them compare to Allen's Dodge Viper custom bike. OK, so just a reprise, right? Allen has come here to Elvington to try and do 200 miles an hour on that. The bike has more brake horsepower than a Bugatti Veyron and more chutzpah than a New York Waiter. Even the great drag racer Pip Hyam looks a bit overawed.
That's a block of cubic horsepower sitting there, isn't it? And I just think it's such a stunning piece of kit.
But you're not nervous with these kind of things, are you?
Everyone's a little tiny bit nervous.
Yeah, I am.
We're all a little bit nervous. This is a monster of a bike. But I have ridden
just
it.
amazing.
I have ridden it at 200 miles an hour at Bruntingthorpe, so I know I can do it. But doing it again is another thing, you know.
There's the competition. Check that out. That's Jeff Einsberg's Mad Max bike, powered by a Rolls-Royce turbine, usually found in a helicopter. What's life like at 200?
Well, for me, it's weird. The future seems to come to here. Like when I go through the lights, the end of the runway feels like it's there. The vibration, you get tunnel vision, and it all happens from about 185 onwards. Up to about 185, it's just cruising. It's easy, it's simple.
I don't know if I'd call 185 cruising speed, but if any bike can do it, this one can. Hey Alan, great luck mate, we'll be up there with you mate at the start, fantastic. And by the way, if you ever ask me to do the pillion record with you, I will kill you, all right? Enough talk, time for action. Ride number 1. This exercise is called the Flying Eighth. You get a 1 mile run up and then pin it. He's so fast the cameraman can't keep up, but in fact he reaches a mere 170 miles an hour.
It's so smooth, it's dead straight, everything's great, but I've got a tiny bit of a misfire. I think the fuel pressure's a little bit low. I'm going to wind up my servo and see if that makes a difference.
All right, so good first shakedown run. We're just going to have a little tinker and then we might just wind it up a little. Run number 2 and the bike still isn't quite right. Alan's worried that one of the crankshaft sensors may have failed, so he ropes in his brother to check it out.
No spark.
OK, no spark. So that basically means, technically, the term is That's not embarrassing at all, Kira. It's not embarrassing. Well, Alan says it's embarrassing. It's not embarrassing, Alan. You're running.
It doesn't go wrong. It doesn't go wrong. It always works.
Yeah, but the thing is that sometimes it has to go wrong.
Yeah.
You know, for you to then make sure that it won't go wrong again. Unfortunately, it's third time lucky. The Viper still isn't quite perfect, but Alan gets his best time so far. So look, that's the final run for the Viper. Standing, so that's basically terminal velocity, 182.456. Flying eighth, mate, 180.
It's not bad, is it? We're considering the engine's playing up a little bit and my bottle and everything, so I'm well chuffed.
Alan, that's fantastic.
Well
man.
chuffed.
Well done,
my
mate.
fastest time here.
God, that's great.
So, that's what they're for. It's pointless making something and then leaving it in the lounge. It's got to be used. And use it hard. Within your bottle. I mean, I haven't got the bottle to wring that neck, but
absolutely.
But not many people have.
Alan, thank you for letting me into your life for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Mate, really, what a
really
fantastic time. Thank you so much.